Nurses, the real reason you stay stuck in the same situation is because you would have to actually say how you really feel about things in order for that situation to change. And if you did that, there could be very real consequences. So let's think if we're like in the hospital, right? You might get wrote up, you might get fired, your license might get dinged or whatever it is, taken away, whatever it is that they want to do to it. Those are some very real consequences that could happen, and that keeps you fearful. And so you stay quiet and you stay compliant, you don't rock the boat, and you stay in the same situation. You never get out of it. Nothing ever changes for you. And that's exactly what the system wants. They want you to stay like that, in that perpetual mode of fear and just like censoring yourself. And that's exactly the situation that I found myself in when I was doing travel nursing. I did travel nursing for years and years, and towards the very end of my travel nursing career, I was working in the cardiac ICU, and I was finishing up my doctorate. And I kept having these frequent flyers come in, and these frequent flyers would come in with their entire family, right? So I would have like the little ones to like the parents, and then I'd have like somebody in the bed, and then I'd see like the grandparents and the older family members. And it was just like killing me. It was like eating me alive that I couldn't say the things that needed to be said in order to save these people's lives, to save my patients' lives. Because I was seeing like the whole like fucking life cycle of like diabetes and like obesity and high cholesterol and stroke and cancer. And I was seeing all these things play out in front of me with the patient in the bed, and I was seeing how it was going to just go through and like decimate an entire family, because this shit's familial, and it would go through diabetes, fucking obesity, high blood pressure, all that shit is family. Like, there's so much, I'm not going to go into that because there's a whole thing right there, but I kept seeing it, and I kept seeing like this kid is going to end up like this when he's going to be like this, like his older brother or sister, and then he's going to look like the adults, and then look like the grandparents, and then look like the person in the bed. Like, I could see it, and it was killing me. It was eating me alive because I couldn't say what needed to be said. Because if I did, I would for sure get fired, honey. The way I talk, I would get fired. My license might get taken away. The hospital will get like a bad HCAHPS or a bad score, whatever it is that they were doing at the time. Like, the hospital would get thinged for it. And so that was really making me feel like I wasn't a good nurse. Like, I wasn't an effective nurse. Like, I wasn't fulfilling my calling, because like these people weren't getting better. Like, they just came to see me over and over again, and I felt like I was not doing anything at all for them. And eventually towards the end, like I said, I couldn't take it anymore. It really was eating at me and hurting me personally and emotionally, all of this going on. So that's how I eventually started transitioning away from the ICU and away from the bedside, because I just could not take that anymore. And I started getting into teaching, and so that was kind of like a segue into that. And then that's when I started, leaning more into nurse entrepreneurship and doing things on my own, because I had more freedom and I could say more of the things that I wanted to say, and I could go online to social media, and there's nobody fucking censoring me on social media. I can say whatever it is that I want to say on here, and I can help people in the way that they need to be helped. Not the things that they want to hear or the things that I'm allowed to say, but the things that they need to hear. And really fulfill my calling in that way, instead of keeping myself small and censoring myself and really just like crushing my soul and my spirit. That's what was happening when I was working there, and I couldn't take it anymore. So that's a little bit of how I was able to get out of that and get more into nurse entrepreneurship and have more freedom and be able to really live in my calling and do what I really wanted to do in the way that I wanted to do it. And so that was my way of breaking out of that system. And I can't ever go back. I can't ever go back to that. So it really was a conscious decision to say the things that really needed to be said, regardless of the consequences, and just really go for it. Really just go for it. And it was the best decision I ever made. I'm so happy being a teacher. I love it so much. I love having my own independent practice and doing the things that I do. And it really was just following what I know what was right for me and breaking out of that system, because that system will trap you. It traps nurses. It keeps them overworked, underpaid, exhausted. It takes their bodies, their freedom, their mind. It takes everything from them unless you push back, unless you're able to really have that fortitude inside of yourself. And I was able to do that. I said, fuck this. I'm not sticking around for this any